Universal Studios, Orlando, Florida, and I'm gonna go on the Simpsons ride. I've never been on this ride before. I'm excited to take you along. Along the way, I'm gonna share information with you for plus-size riders and for people with mobility and accessibility concerns. Welcome to Pammie Plus Parks. I am Pammie, your plus-size fairy godmother, bringing you all the magic Universal, Disney, and Florida have to offer plus-size people. But I got lots of information for everybody about this ride. I'm pretty excited about it. I don't think I've ever been on this ride before, so I can't wait to share all the little details of it with you. And in case you're wondering what my size is, to kind of help you decide if this ride will work for you, I am 5 feet 4 inches tall. I weigh 350 pounds. I wear US women's sizes 4 or 5X or size 30. Wow, I love the entrance to this ride. It's amazing. Let's have a look at this ride's warning signs to see if there's anything you need to be aware of. This is a motion simulator ride. The vehicle will suddenly and dramatically accelerate, climb, stop, dive. The movement of the vehicle includes sudden tilting and jarring actions. Now, things you should be aware of, reasons why you shouldn't ride, would be heart conditions, abnormal blood pressure, back, neck, or similar physical conditions, expectant mothers, motion sickness or dizziness, medical sensitivity to strobe effects, medical sensitivity to fog effects, fear of enclosed spaces, recent surgery or other conditions that may be aggravated by the ride. It does say the ride vehicle and restraints may not accommodate guests with certain body dimensions. Guests under 40 inches tall may not ride, but children between 40 inches and 48 inches must be accompanied by a supervising companion. Guests using standard wheelchairs, motorized wheelchairs, or electric convenience vehicles, ECVs, must transfer to the ride vehicle seating. There is closed captioning available on this ride. You have to see an attendant for details. And if you have a service animal, you should also check with one of the team members here for help. A couple of more quick things to let you know about this ride. Wheelchairs are allowed in the queue. Wheelchairs that have the joystick control that move 360 are allowed in the queue. But motorized wheelchairs that do not operate 360s and ECVs must transfer into one of the lender wheelchairs here. They have a wheelchair that lends you for free to use for the queue. I spoke to one of the team members who told me that the cars that are on the lowest level of this ride are the ones that have the most room, that the back seat has even more room than the front seat. So I'm gonna ask to be sat on the first level in a backseat car. And of course, as always with Universal rides, you are not allowed to film at all. I do follow the rules and regulations, but I'm gonna give you a very detailed description of what to expect. One thing you should know is that along the route of this queue, there is a ramp that goes up to another level. So be aware of that. I believe there may be an elevator for people who are in wheelchairs to make this a little easier, but there are ramps for those who are walking. Okay, I told the team member that I wanted to sit on the first level, and he sent me around the corner into a line that is going to lead me into the first level. So I'm not actually going to go take those ramps that I pointed out to you. I'm guessing that if you sit on a higher level, you take the ramps up to the level that you're seated in. One of the really good things about this queue is that most of it appears to be undercover, which is great during the rainy season and in the summer when the sun is scorchingly hot. Well, I have quite a lot to share with you about that ride, so I decided to find a shady place to sit and go over it. I believe this ride used to be the Back to the Future ride, because it's like a car vehicle. There are bench seats in 2 rows. The front row, the bench seat, the back of the seat ends like right where your shoulder blades are. In the back row, the seat goes all the way back behind your head. If you're looking for a little more support on this ride that is very jarring, I recommend you do sit in that back row. The back row is also supposed to be the place that has a little bit more room for plus-size people. The thing to keep in mind is that 4 people can sit in that row, and there's 1 shared lap bar. That lap bar will only come down as far as the largest person. So if there are smaller people in the ride with you and they are not in your party, they may wish to continue to push down on the bar, which is what happened to me. The folks who were with me could not understand English, so I wasn't able to fully explain to them, please don't continue to push on the bar. So I actually had to put my hands up under the bar and hold it up and prevent them from pushing it down further. The ride is jarring, but it's not so jarring that they would have been unsafe with the bar up a little higher. The bar is really just there to make sure you stay seated. If you stay seated on the ride, you should be safe. I would follow all the warnings that they have for this ride. There's strobe lights, there's a lot of visual effects. In fact, when you're seated in your ride vehicle, you'll look up and there's a movie screen that's like a mini IMAX screen. Think along the lines of Sworn, if you've ever ridden that ride, where you have a very large circular screen that is curved and kind of surrounds you a little bit to give you that sort of 3D effect, like you're in the ride, like it's really happening. There are no 3D glasses for this. It is a two-dimensional screen, but because that screen surrounds you, you really feel like you're enveloped in the action that's happening. Once you're seated, the entire vehicle raises up, I'm not sure how high, maybe 10-15 feet, and from there, while it's on its pedestal, it rocks forward, back, and side to side and follows the motion of what's going on in the film. It gives you the sensation of sharp dives and sharp turns and curves. The actual action that is in the vehicle is not that sharp, but you feel like it is because it matches the visuals. A couple more tips for people of size. Apparently the cars that are on that first level have a little more extra room in them because they're designed for people to be able to transfer into from a wheelchair. However, if you are going to take that back row, which also has a little bit more room, make sure that you try to sit in the center of the ride. And that's because that shared lap bar goes across like this, but near the end seat, on each side, there's a bar, a T-bar. And if you get stuck on the very end, you'll be stuck between that bar and the side of the ride, and you have to try to fit your knees between it. I was able to do it. It wasn't a huge issue, but you'll probably be a little bit more comfortable if you can sit in the center of that back row. I did find there was a generous amount of leg room, but if you happen to be a very tall person, I would suggest you sit in the front seat because the back seat has a small overhang that goes above your head. I'm pretty short, didn't bother me at all. Even when I stood up, I was still well underneath it. But if you're a tall person, you might hit your head when you get up to stand after the end of the ride. Overall, I really enjoyed the ride. I had a lot of fun. Is it my most favorite theme park ride ever? No, but I'd ride it again. It was a good time. Thank you for joining me today on the Simpsons ride. Remember, life is a roller coaster. Enjoy the ride.